you ever heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat? Sometimes our curiosity gets the better of us, even when it's not good for us, or when specifically told to stay away from something. Pandora is one such person who fell victim to this very thing. Here, we will listen to her story. Before we meet Pandora, we must go back to where her story all began. Epimetheus and Prometheus were two titans from ancient Greece. They upset the gods, but most importantly and most critically for them, they upset the most powerful god of all. Can you think who this god might be? Yes, you guessed correctly, it was Zeus. Now this was not the first time that humans had upset Zeus. And once before, he had used a punishment that affected them very deeply. He had taken the ability to make fire from them. Now, fire was essential for their day-to-day lives back then, as it is now. Can you think of some of the ways the ancient Greeks might have been affected by not having access to fire? Well, for starters, they could no longer cook their meat and food. They couldn't keep themselves warm, and it was also their main source of light at night time. As would be expected, the two brothers were at a complete loss as what they should do next, when Prometheus, the more clever of the two brothers, decided that he needed to take a trip to the Isle of Lemnos, because there lived Hephaestus, a blacksmith. Now, as a blacksmith, he had to keep a fire burning at all times in order to keep his forge hot. Prometheus travelled to Lemnos and stole the fire from the blacksmith. Zeus was understandably enraged. He saw that his original plan with the fire had not worked, and so he needed to think of payback that was larger and that was going to be more effective for them. As a punishment, Zeus went after Prometheus first, and he chained him to a rock, where Prometheus was left stranded for several years. But this was not enough for Zeus, and he went after Prometheus' brother also. He met up with Hephaestus, who had also been scorned by the brothers, and together they came up with a cunning plan. They decided to make a woman made from clay. Now, all they needed to do was bring this woman to life, and so they called upon their fellow gods and goddesses. The goddess Athene breathed life into the clay. Aphrodite made her very beautiful, and Hermes taught her how to be both charming but at the same time deceitful. They called her Pandora. Knowing that Epimetheus must be extremely lonely, having lost his brother and not knowing his whereabouts, decided to send Pandora as a present to Epimetheus and take advantage of his loss. Epimetheus had been warned by his brother Prometheus on many occasions not to accept gifts from the gods, but Pandora was just so beautiful, he simply could not resist. The pair were wed. However, the cunning Zeus was lying in wait. He sent Pandora a beautiful box as a wedding gift. However, he warned her not to open that box no matter what. Of course, even hearing those words made Pandora's curiosity grow. Day in, day out, Pandora's mind was riddled with the thoughts of what was inside this box. And on occasion, she approached the box with every intention of opening it, but at the last minute managed to hold herself, with Zeus's warnings ringing in her head. Finally, however, Pandora could bear it no longer, and one day, while Epimetheus was out, she snuck into the room where the box was kept. She sat down and curled her legs, and slowly twisted the key in the lock, unveiling what was inside. Pandora had often speculated about what was inside the box. Gold coins, silk gowns, jewellery. What she did not expect was what she was faced with when she looked into that box for the first time. Out of that box, Pandora would never in her life want to ever have to face again. Out of the box poured disease and poverty, misery and death, sadness. They surrounded her, they enveloped her. She fell to the floor, crying in the agonizing pain that she felt all over her body. Prometheus ran to his wife's aid, and she quickly shut the box so he would not see the horrors that were contained inside it. However, Pandora could still hear a voice calling to her from inside the box, begging with her and pleading with her to let her out. She spoke about what they should do with her husband, and together they agreed that nothing that was inside that box could be worse than what had already been revealed to them. So together they decided to open up that lid for the last time. But instead of sadness, disease and poverty, out from the box flew one single dragonfly, and it was beautiful as it fluttered around the room. And the two realized it was hope. And even though Pandora had released pain and suffering upon the world, it was realized that she had also released hope. Now, as you can see in front of me, I have a little white box, and contained in this box is an item that featured in the story at some point. I want you all to just have a little think, and then on the little post-it I'm going to give around right now, I want you to speculate and guess what might be inside the box. I want you to place it in the jar, and at the end of the lesson we are going to look at all the guesses and then reveal the contents of the box.